Okay, now let's talk about mindset. You might have heard about mindset for seven-figure business owners, mindset for success, mindset for blah, blah, blah. There's mindset for everything. And for many years, I thought that's honestly total bullshit. Because I thought mindset is just for weak people who don't want to do the work. And then it's just all about this crazy woo stuff where you tell yourself some things and other people tell you some mindset stuff. But I just thought that's just for manipulating people. But in the end, I figure out it's a very important component for success and for being happy and feeling happy. And of course, you are manipulating yourself because you're changing the way you think. So why is that important? Look at it like this. It's like an operating system of a computer, right? Depending on the software you install on the computer, it results in different activities, different functionality of the computer, right? If you think of a robot, it can either be a nice machine serving you dinner, if you put the right software on it, or it can be like a machine that kills people in the worst case, right? It only depends on the software. And this software is very similar to your mind, to your subconscious mind in particular. So what you think all day is basically how you feel and what you do. Let's start with feelings, because emotions is something that I also thought it's for weak people and it has nothing to do with success and business life. And even when I had my professional sports career in karate, I always thought, mindset, I just train harder and I just train more than everyone else and I will be better. And at a certain degree, it worked, but it only worked to a certain point. Then I had to understand that it's also a lot about how I think about what I do. And in business, the same. I had a lot of drama in my business and a lot of stress. And I think it all comes down to me creating the drama with how I think. Let me explain that. When I get an email from an important client and the subject says important, what would you think? Oh my God, client is about to quit, right? Or client is unsatisfied or whatever. And I always thought like this. I always expected the worst case scenario. I don't know why, but I think it is because then I couldn't be disappointed, maybe. Or I thought I am prepared always for the worst case. And it didn't help me. I will explain in a minute why it didn't help me and why this is so counterproductive if you always think in negative scenarios and negative outcomes. Right? Instead, I could also think when I get this email with the subject headline important from an important client, I could also think, hey, maybe they have another project for me. Maybe they want to renew the contract. And very often it's the case, right? It's something positive. Or when a person tells you, hey, we need to talk. What do you make out of that message? Something negative, a drama, or something positive? So in the end, you have a lot of these scenarios every day that just happen, and you create a story for the scenario, right? You give it a judgment, you give it a valuation. That creates the drama, and typically that creates negative emotions and stress when you create thoughts that are like judging the situation negatively. Why is that bad? Because when you feel negative, you will have more negative thoughts, and then you will feel more negative, and you will have more negative thoughts. Right? And in the end, that is like a hamster wheel. You feel bad, you think negative thoughts, then you have negative emotions, you have more negative thoughts. And it's very, very hard to get out of that. And the worst case, and now here's what that means for building your business, is that when you have negative thoughts, it results in either negative activity or you only have a mindset trying to prevent something. Right? Look at the words you use, look at the words others use. When you say, I don't want X to happen, that's just reactive. That's just what you want to avoid. In the end, you will deploy activities that help you prevent something. But as a business owner, you want to achieve something, right? You want to grow, you want to move forward. But with a preventing mindset that only thinks in problems and what should not happen, you won't be able to create the right thoughts. Now, here's one other thing. Your thoughts become your action. right? You cannot do what you cannot think. Everything that has happened in our lives is because somebody did it for us, or we had a thought first and then we took action and implemented something. Now, if you only think like negative, or you think what you don't want, it's very hard to do something and create something you want. And what makes it even worse, exponentially worse, is if you have a team and you are the role model for your team. And now just imagine this. You are in a preventing mindset, in a negative mindset. You are always just speaking in drama. You are creating stress for yourself. Your team will also create stress because they see you being stressed, so they feel stressed, right? That's how humans are built. And also, they model you, so they will use the same language that you use. They will use the same words. They will attach the same meaning to the same situation. So ultimately, you will create a culture of negativity, of stress, of people trying to prevent something instead of people trying to achieve something. Okay, just do an assessment and listen carefully to the words you use and to the words your team use. Is it more, we want to make sure that, or is it we don't want, or we want to prevent that, or we don't want to, whatever, right? Is it trying to achieve something, or is it trying to avoid something? And the achiever mindset is what helps you move forward. This is what helps you build big things, right? When you can imagine, you have big dreams, you want to build a big business, you need to build systems, etc. You can only do that with an achiever mindset. You cannot do that when you are constantly in mode of preventing things. And the very important part in the mindset of what I found a 6 or 7 figure business owner is rooted in your childhood. That's somehow funny, and I never thought this is possible because I always thought, this is crazy boo stuff. But in the end, when you had parents, they always told you what not to do. You will end up having a preventive mindset, right? You will try to avoid things. And don't get me wrong, risk has to be managed. No problem. But you can just manage it, right? There is a risk and you manage it. And you think in a positive way about the risk, right? You think, hey, there's a risk, cool. So I want to make sure to deploy a risk management system to keep this risk under control, right? That's a positive language. But what you could also say is, we have a risk. We should definitely avoid spending money on that. We should definitely avoid this mistake to happen. Now, what are you going to do with that? People trying to avoid stuff, but that's not what you want. You want a risk management system, for example. So the risk part in your thought process is so important. I mean, and look at what I just started talking about. Look at your parents and how they raised you. It's very hard to change that. But the first step to change that, to have an achiever mindset, is to understand that you have a preventive mindset and that you are constantly feeling negative emotions because you're thinking negatively and you're creating drama instead of just seeing the things as they are. And what I hear often, and I also believe that many times, is that, but if you are always positive, or there's this word toxic positivity, that you're always making things up and it's always awesome and good. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is, be positive about the solution. Even if you have a problem, small problem, big problem, right? Be positive about solving it. Instead of being negative about the problem, say, there's this problem, why me, why do I have this problem? And talking all this bullshit to yourself that just makes you feel negative and makes you prevent additional problems, which in the end results in more problems, right? Better try to be positive about the problem and that you find a solution.